I drink, I sit and think of getting sober. But when I'm sober, all I want is that damn high. How long will I walk my...
You good to go?
Yeah, let's... What does Jameson Tank say? He's like, are you ready to knock into this thing?
Yeah, that is exactly what he says. Dude, shout out to Jameson Tank. He's the man. I haven't been able to listen to y'all's episode yet because it's not out as we're recording this.
We need to do it. We need to put it out.
Jameson's the man. He's a sweetheart.
He's a really good dude.
So we got Wim Tapley here on that note. Thanks for joining me, dude. How are you doing?
Thanks so much for having me. You have a beautiful home.
I appreciate it.
This is a good place.
I'm lucky to have awesome roommates like Tommy and Carmen and Zach. And yeah, it's a beautiful place. I've only lived here for about 8 months and it already feels like home.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So why don't you tell us why you picked Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen?
Yeah, I love the record collection. You got a bunch of shit, but this is one of the very first albums I ever owned. I actually got Led Zeppelin 4 and Bruce Springsteen Born in the USA at Smash Records in DC, and I hadn't even bought a record player at that point in my life.
So you had the album before you had
yeah. I was like, there's gonna be some way to play. Like I had friends with record players and things, and I was like, I'm gonna be able to listen to this. But I took the leap of faith and have been obsessed with everything records and everything Bruce Springsteen since. So
my dad would be very excited.
Sure.
He's the ultimate Bruce Springsteen fan, but I feel like every dad is.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful dad music.
It absolutely is. Is this your favorite, or was this just the first one you got?
Man, I love it. Some of the deep tracks on it, like Downbound Train is one of my favorite songs ever written.
Okay.
There's an original version of Born in the USA where he did it like acoustic. It sounds more like Nebraska, where he did it with the 8-track and stuff. That album, and you really like hear those lyrics and stuff, and it sounds like this patriotic like banger when you're listening to it with the full band, and it's got the 80s synths and stuff. But you realize like lyrically there's a lot more there, and it's more of a critique, and it's a cool ass song that they kind of snuck in there.
Yeah, it is funny when you think about Born in the USA, and the first time I heard it for a long time, it just seems like a patriotic banger, like you said.
He's
and then
talking...
you realize, you're like, oh, this is a pretty scathing review of
America. He's talking about the Vietnam War and all sorts of shit. So
I loved Nebraska too. That one really blew my mind.
Yeah, Atlantic City is an amazing song.
That was the first one I heard, and I was like, oh, this is so different than the rest. And my dad was like, yeah, you should listen to Nebraska. They're all like
my dad put me on to Nebraska too.
It's such a vibe.
Dads are good for that.
they are. So today, February 16th, as we record this, is the day before you drop Sober.
Excited, man.
I'm excited for the world to hear it. I've heard it a few times and want to talk about it.
Thanks, man.
I know that it kind of got a little bit of its origin on TikTok. Is that true?
Yeah. I was trying to use any tools at our disposal, and TikTok is, say what you want about it, but it's a free, easy marketing platform. You just have to keep throwing shit out there, and for some people it takes a while, and I had been trying to post regularly for like 2 weeks or so. We're getting plugged in, and it was a Monday night. I went out to Boars, and my phone was just zzz, 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 and I'm like looking at it. I'm like, what is going on? And this one video, which ended up becoming Sober, took off randomly, and we've just been really, really excited to get this thing out and get it right. We took a little bit of extra time with it, and might have lost some traction along the way with that, but I think that we ended up with something that I'm really proud of, and I have the full band playing on it versus me trying to play every instrument and stuff. And so I really believe that it's our best work, and I'm excited for people to hear this song, and I don't know, it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's definitely like a sad song, but I'm looking like tonight's gonna be a party, man.
Dude, it doesn't feel like a sad song. Like, I mean, it does kind of have that essence to it, but I don't know. It doesn't bring you down. You know what I mean?
Sure. It's a little fierce. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, all three of these new tunes kind of feel like that Gut Punch and Dry Eyes. Would you say they're all part of the same kind of family?
Yeah, so I'm doing the waterfall release kind of thing right now, where you put a single out and then you put the single before it as like a B-side, and you just keep doing that. But eventually we'll do the single tonight, and then we'll do an acoustic version. And I'm kind of treating that like a sober EP. If we end up like pressing records or something of that would be dope.
Yeah.
But you know, we'll see what happens. I definitely want to give this song its time, and we have a lot of really exciting versions of it with the band that we recorded, and just different ideas that we're throwing at it. I love house music, and I DJ and stuff, so we'll definitely do an EDM version.
Whoa.
And just
that's wild.
Yeah, just ride it, man. Like, you know, we have this golden ticket, and if we do 4 versions of that song or whatever, it's like, why not? Just if people don't hate us for it, then I think we can just continually breathe a lot of new life into it. But
that kind of reminds me of Lil Nas X. How
sure,
he was doing that.
He just did all
Old
the
Town
different.
Road.
I'm sure we'll do a duet version. I'm sure we'll do like a, what's the thing now? Like slow. It's either slow and reverb, or you got like the sped up. Yeah. So I guess we gotta
how
do
that works.
both versions.
Yeah,
so
like
that would bring us up to like 6 sobers.
Crazy.
And then after that, I think, I don't know, maybe we slow down after that. Maybe we go for 7 though. We'll
why not? Just keep it going. Mm-hmm. Get Mason Ramsey, the yodeling kid on
there.
Yeah,
I think people do that. That's a fucking move. I do love Mason Ramsey. Yeah, people think of Spotify as this like higher service, or this, you know, you have to get your shit honed and perfect and beautiful to go on Spotify. And there's definitely some truth to that. You know, you got to put your best foot forward, but treating Spotify like an Instagram or something is sweet, because it doesn't matter what you put out. Like, no one is going to be offended if you put a live version out of something on Spotify, or a stripped acoustic or whatever. If they don't want to listen to it, they can just listen to the stuff that they've already been listening to. And the name of the game is huge catalogs right now, and everybody wants to, you know, if my mom could get stuck on my Spotify all day and not run out of things to listen to, that's a good goal. And so I think anybody who's like kind of passively listening and stuff, I think that's how, you know, like if you look at Drake's catalog, he has so many songs.
Sure.
And people can just run through that all day and they're not going to run out. And I don't know, I think it contributes a lot to his streams. But we're not doing this for any sort of numbers or whatever. We're really excited about the creative process, and we're just feeling everything we're putting out. We've been writing more than I ever have in my life. I've finally I feel like just been mature enough to open my writing to the band. I was trying to do the Tame Impala thing and play all the instruments and stuff, and there are certain songs where it's definitely the right fit for me to be in the studio tracking everything and writing it at the same time and stuff. But right now I'll go, you know, we're writing, we added 3 new original songs to the set last week, and we're just cranking these songs out. And I have just the utmost respect and trust for my band, and they're bringing these ideas to the table that are amazing. And at the very least, like, if we're hitting a situation where I can't come up with the chords in the beginning, or I can't come up with that, you know, like song catalyst, I have my guys that I can turn to, and Garrett will come up with some bass line or something, and we'll work it out. So we're just in this place. I feel like it's really healthy right now. We're working as hard as we can on the writing and recording, and just trying to, everybody's doing it, but trying to find our sound, and just keep writing songs that we care about. We're all over the map, like stylistically, but you know, it's always us playing the same instruments and everything. So it's always me singing. I feel like we can kind of take liberties with that, and we'll still sound like the band. So it's exciting.
Was it tough to relinquish some of that control?
Yeah, I just again, I just don't think I had the maturity. I don't know if it was an ego thing or if it was just this idea that I had about like, oh, I need to be able to do this to market myself and stuff. And I'm realizing that there's a way that I could get the best of both worlds, because the thing about writing is that as much as I thought that writing with my band would maybe halt my process on some of my solo writing and stuff, the more that you write, the more that you write. Like it's like this muscle that you exercise. And so I actually found myself, you know, coming home from these long ass songwriting sessions with the band, and I was still fired up and still wanted to write my own stuff. And so relinquishing that control has been an incredible thing for me. And I think in all aspects of life, like relinquishing control is a necessary part of the human experience if you don't want to just be like so frustrated all the time, because there's so much shit that you just can't. I mean, you know, there's new construction on Prince they're like redesigning that road and undesigning it, and like there's so much shit that could get in your way and get into your day and screw up that process. And you know, kind of expecting that and having that buffer around it, and that buffer in terms of songwriting, when I know that, like, when I'm having one of those days and I just can't get something out, I'm not feeling as bad about it because I trust our process and I know what we're capable of. And so having that, you know, we can control our. I think David Barbie said it on actually on Jameson's podcast. Yeah. He was like, the only thing that you can control in your life is your own work ethic. Everything past that is up to other people or the universe or God or whatever.
That's great advice.
And it's very true. The only thing that we as a band can guarantee is that we're going to put our absolute utmost effort into whatever we do, whether that's a show or a recording or a photo shoot or whatever. We're getting in there, and I think I got a gritty band. They're ready to, you know, play 2 shows in 24 hours and stay up till 4 and drive to a new city the next morning and do all of it. And
amazing.
Man, I love them. I have the most. I mean, if you see Garrett and me hanging out in public, I'd probably hug that dude like 8 times. Like I adore them.
I just met Garrett the other day, like
awesome,
a week ago,
dude.
and he rocks, dude. Garrett Chiramonte, shout out.
Oh, Chiramonte is amazing. So
we got another Garrett.
There's so many Garretts in Athens that it's crazy. So my bassist is also named Garrett.
Oh, okay.
Garrett Gray.
And then Garrett Cardoso as well. Shout out.
Garrett Cardoso is like the greatest photographer.
Dude, he rocks.
Yeah, so between the 3 of them, we're covered.
We got all the Garretts.
Garrett-wise. Yeah, we have like the Garrett Infinity Stones.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Chiramonte though is a freak, man. He is just level-headed and works so many hours that sometimes I'm like, bro, like,
take a break.
You can chill. Like, like we don't need this moment. But he, man, he's just one of those guys. I feel like he's going to battle for us and opening a lot of new doors. And it's all just, again, it's like a testament to work ethic. And, you know, as much as his life might be unbalanced right now between like work and play, he is just killing it and proving everybody wrong in the process.
And for those who don't know, he owns Clear Mountain Entertainment.
Yeah, Clear Mountain Entertainment. They do a lot of.
They rep you.
Yeah, they manage us and they do some amazing festivals and everything. But seeing Garrett's transformation from everybody being like, oh, you want to manage bands and you want to do this and you want to throw a festival, like just very. I don't know, people were really, really sleeping on him, really doubting him, and I saw that fire in him. It helped. So my first managerial meeting or whatever, he shows up and he's got a Virginia area code when I get his phone number, and I was like,
you're like, hey,
so deal with that. Like that was my home phone number, you know, code and stuff. And I had never met him in Virginia, but he's someone. I think my dad said, he was like, you should always hire. There are certain people, it's like Eagle Scouts and wrestlers. I think he was talking about because he's like, if you think about like high school wrestling, like that shit looks miserable.
Totally.
You go in there way early in the morning, you got some stank ass dude beating up on you. And if you can get through that, I'm like, Garrett used to be a wrestler in high school. I think he was like a captain, and he told me that he had like a terrible season and started a fight with a dude or something out of frustration, and came back the next year with this fire lit under him that he wasn't gonna, get his ass whooped and ended up becoming a captain, and that's just the kind of person that he is.
And it's not a team. Well, it is a team sport, kind of, but it's one-on-one.
Yeah, and so I really trust him out there representing us, and he's just an amazing dude. We all went to Starfucker last night at the Georgia Theater.
It looked great.
I had never seen them before. I had never really listened to them, but my roommates got some tickets and
nice.
Sized all of us, and it was.
I saw the dancing astronauts.
They were dancing so hard. They had like a 7-foot tall astronaut, and they all started. Yeah, it was, dude. It was beautiful. I felt really bad for the like every time the confetti shot out of the cannon, I looked in the monitor guy. I was just sitting there like. Like they got to clean all that up.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long night.
That was probably fun, but
so maybe pivoting back to sober, I really want to get into the writing process behind this. So I know you wrote it, you put it on TikTok, it blew up. Mm-hmm. From there, what were your thoughts going into this? Did you think that you were going to use this as the next single?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just followed the lead there.
Yeah, we just tried our best to give people what they want, and also trying to like circumvent what they wanted and like piece it together in a way that we're trying not to like piss people off, but we also wanted to keep that hype and that momentum growing. But
why did you think you're gonna piss people off?
Well, people are like, oh, you got to drop this immediately.
Drop
we
it
want
right
an acoustic
now.
version. We want it. And so I'm like, yeah, we're doing that. We're not gonna make it easy. We're gonna eventually, like tonight, after tonight, it'll be easy. But just keeping, like, I'm sure there'll be 100 people that DM me today. Like, where's the acoustic version? Like, I just want the and
damn.
Which is
you can't
fine.
make everyone happy.
You can't make everybody happy, and it's not about making everybody happy, because none of my favorite artists have ever made everybody happy. As much as I try to do it, and it's one thing to like give advice; it's another thing to take your own advice, and
that is very true.
It's very it's a lot of pressure. It's very difficult, but you take it for what it is, and I'm honored that people care enough about my music to have that sort of reaction to it. So we will be putting out an acoustic version, and just trying to ride this and use it the right way, and do like cool music video, and really just nail it with people in Athens is the goal. Okay. I love like one of my favorite artists is Sam Fender.
Oh yeah, Christian Sparaccio is turning me on to him.
Yeah, so I played this gig with Christian last week. We both found out, we're like, you're a fan too. I wear this necklace because he like wore that stuff on his album cover and stuff. And his deal is like, he's from North Shields in England, which is like the New Jersey of England.
And he sounds like Bruce Springsteen.
He does say, they're calling him like the next Bruce Springsteen or whatever. But his deal is like, I hate famous people. I hate celebrities. I don't want any part of that. I don't want to be in the rat race. I want to be making songs with people from my hometown in Newcastle.
That's cool.
And his production team, his band, everybody is all North Shields. And I have this similar vision for Athens. I really trust the people we're working with, and we have access to rooms and gear and minds that I had never known in Virginia. I have one really, really amazing producer in Virginia that I was lucky to have access to, but he had a little bit of outboard gear and stuff. It was the kind of thing that where I was getting really nerdy about the plugins and the audio, everything, but it's all on a laptop. And
Right.
I come to Athens and it's like, oh shit, there's a real Blue Stripe
There's hundreds of
1176
thousands
for
of
like
dollars
yeah,
in
yeah,
this
like,
room right now.
It's seeing shit and actually turning knobs in person is unreal.
It hits different.
It does.
Feels different.
Yeah.
Even if I couldn't tell with my ears, there's like a tactile satisfaction.
Yeah, also just the commitment that you have to make to it, because you can't just open your window and recompress or whatever. It's like,
That's
nope,
true.
I gotta dial this in right now, and if I want to do it again, it's gonna be a pain.
Yeah. And did you record these songs with Patrick from Racket Recording?
Patrick is awesome.
Patrick
I love
rocks.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got
Patrick Doherty.
a few new tunes coming out that he engineered.
Hell yeah, I'm
there.
excited, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to hear those as well. But he provides such a vibe in his studio. It always sounds great.
Yeah.
What's your experience been there?
Dude, he has been one of the kindest, chillest people to me. I've had some, producer experiences where people are really interested in taking my music and doing a lot of legwork on it, like rewriting or putting their own spin on it, and then kind of like Rick Rubining my stuff.
Okay.
And Patrick is all about just helping me find the sounds that I'm looking for, and he's not pushy, and he's, sometimes we hit a vocal and he's like, yeah, that was bad. But he's very gracious in his rejection, I guess.
Communication.
Yeah. He's just a really rock solid dude. So right now we have like 5 or 6 songs that we've been tracking hard, and we were doing it the way that we've been doing it, where we, you go in and you do a drum day, and then you get the bass on, and we're kind of piecemealing it together. And at this point, I'm really interested in, for everything else that we've written that we haven't started yet, I think we're going to go in with the full band and live track it and then overdub it. Because we're doing that for my EP with Hall Pass. And we had a meeting with Tommy and Andrew at Tweet and everything. And they're talking about this band. And I was like, man, this would work for another band that I'm into. Like, I think just capturing that live vibe would really resonate with people, and just show off my band in a way that they'll just sound the best that they could in that live setting. Garrett Gray just did 3 or 4 days of Tree Sound in Atlanta, which is insane. We couldn't afford that right now, but they had an in, and they got this wonderful opportunity, and live tracked, I think it was 8 songs or something, and
Whoa.
yeah, just killed. And I think that that setup would work really well for my band. 'Cause
Gotcha.
we can always overdub. I engineer stuff. I can run guitars at my house and do it. But just getting that initial rhythm section going, whether it's to a click or not, like
Having a tight, perfectly produced rhythm section will change the game.
oh yeah, it changes the game for everybody. Like that's all anybody cares about. I feel like last night it was beautiful at Starfucker, because like their bassist honestly was like the star of the show.
Really?
Like he got people going more, and he not in the way that he conducted himself. They could not have been a chiller band.
Yeah.
I was like, how are you playing this like sold out Georgia Theater crowd and you're just like not even cracking a smile? But they're just like, they're so chill.
They're dialed in.
Business, yeah, he's just dialed in, and this bass, he's just ripping the whole night, and that was the stuff that people responded to the most. The most that anybody would go hard during the show, other than like the dancing astronauts
Right.
and the confetti and everything, it was the down moments where it was just drums and bass.
Yeah.
And as a overplaying guitarist, I'm like, yeah, I got a lot to learn from that. I gotta put my shit down sometimes, and,
Right.
and let it sit and trust Garrett and Dan.
It's tough to want or to have that what's the word, that maturity to not play sometimes, because
Yeah,
it can be
man.
scary. I mean, especially if you're playing guitar and singing, to use that guitar as a crutch in a way, as opposed to trusting and letting everybody else be able to fill the space. And maybe part of that is also being comfortable with your own voice, at least for me.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. And I was talking to someone at Boars last night. I was like, man, I don't know how people get up there with no guitar. It's like my safety blanket.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like you have this buffer where it's
Totally.
like, yeah, it's just, you're not like directly in front of people, but
I've been forcing myself to put it down for this one song in the set, and it is nice to
how's it going? Yeah.
It is weird at first for sure, and I think actually, I would hold a tambourine and that helps.
That's a move.
Just one thing to like ground you a little bit.
Yeah.
But still have your other hand to like hold the microphone or be at the stand or something. And that's a good way to like transition out of not using a guitar, using a tambourine or something.
I got to try that. There's definitely some songs where, so we don't have another guitarist in the band, but we're looking at maybe adding like auxiliary guy.
Yeah.
So it would be like keys,
whatever you
guitar,
need.
bass. Yeah, I could be switching around. I would love to be able to. The one thing I'm missing from my band right now is that I am playing guitar and singing the whole time, and eventually I would love to run around and play everything.
Yeah.
But I think if we got that, like, just a fifth band member that fills in all of the gaps, and makes it sound like the records, and he or she could play guitar on certain songs, that would free me up to. I just don't know if it would take a lot of practice and a lot of thought to try to be as good of a front man as these people that I've seen with.
Right.
Some people just look cool with no guitar, and they can
rock it.
They can run it. And
yeah. It's its own skill.
Yeah, it would take me definitely a couple shows to get it right.
Well, it's like the perfect embodiment of what do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
Because you're in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It can easily, you could slip into that awkward, oh God, like what am I doing?
Yeah, that's always a fun feeling.
Yeah, I mean, you learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
When you put yourself in that situation. Mm-hmm. What have been some of the biggest lessons that you've learned over the course of a few years, really going hard, putting out music, touring a bunch?
Yeah. I would say recently my mission, just with transitioning into a life of full-time music, where it's some days you feel like you've never hustled harder in your life, and some days it's like, do I even have a job? Like I've just been having fun it's like
Right.
What did I even do today? Like I wrote a song, or I wrote a piece of something, and I don't know, it's always weird, like tracking productivity and feeling shitty for not being as productive as you expect, and there's just all sorts of bullshit and fun thought that goes into a creative job. But I would say that I'm just craving the maturity to make better sonic decisions and better business decisions for the band. I'm really honing, being a boss. I guess, like, I would never refer to myself
The boss.
as that. Yeah. Fucking,
There's only one boss.
there's only
here.
one. There's already a boss.
But maybe just taking ownership.
But just being a better, like business leader, and making sure my band knows exactly what's happening money wise, and not putting myself in the boat where it's like, oh, I buy a guitar and I can't afford food now.
And you did just buy a beautiful guitar.
We did just buy a guitar,
Yeah.
and yeah. So I'm
That
not saying
telly
I'm
is
there, but
really nice.
man, that thing is so cool. I've been playing that, like, I haven't put it down since I got it. And before I bought it, I've been trying to buy that guitar for like 3 weeks. And I went in Monday, my card declined. And well, Dylan was cool about it, because he's like, oh, I was declining my card and bouncing checks and stuff till I was like 35. So Dylan has been a huge mentor to me. But yeah, that guitar is mean. I've sat in Classic City and played that thing for hours.
Wow.
And we actually, so when I bought it, Dylan pulled out a 68 Deluxe Reverb. He cranks it to 10.
Oh my God.
I'm like, maybe I can go a little. And he's
Yeah.
like, no, you do it. Back to 10. Man, I've never heard a better amp. Like
Wow.
it was
He's selling
kind
you
of,
on the amp too.
yeah, it was kind of bittersweet because it's like it's like this guitar will never sound as good as it does in this moment
Right.
unless I go like, get this $3,000 amp.
Take
or
a
whatever. But
mortgage out
It's
to get
literally the best amp I've ever heard in my life.
Uh-huh.
And Dylan said the same thing. He's like, yeah, I've tried to tell people like it's the best amp I've ever heard.
Wow. I've never been very good about knowing the differences between amps and things like that. Like I'm just now starting to understand certain differences in guitar, and that only comes from like the things that I know that I like, as opposed to objectively what is, but also objectively is not even really a thing. Sometimes it's just what feels good to you, and that's what you end up sounding the best on.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I would say with guitar playing, it's almost entirely a feel thing. You have certain types of pickups that lend their own sounds and stuff, but you can you get the right effects going. It's like, okay, can someone really tell if I'm like playing a Tele versus a Les Paul?
Right.
As much as in my head they feel and look so different, it's like as long as you're just making people happy.
Yeah.
And you're trying to put like, I
You
was
can catch
talking about
the feeling.
Yeah, I was talking about maturity and I really want the maturity to not overplay and play the right parts live and arrange the band in a way that really highlights all my members and ego is the biggest, most annoying hurdle of music, because it's all these creative people writing about their feelings and putting shit out that they believe in or they're really good at or whatever, and so just any way that I could destroy that ego and lean into the music and lean into serving my songs rather than trying to make them serve me or make me elevated in some type of way is hugely important. And I'm lucky to have a band that'll fucking pick on me all the time, and they're great. I really value them for that, and just trying to do my best in all areas of my life. I'm like, everybody's trying to figure out how to buy the right groceries and stay on top of their laundry and like just like adult. And I'm very much in the same boat, and I am so blessed that I have songwriting as a vessel to, if I'm really frustrated or heartbroken or any number of things I've been through this year, I always have that therapy, I guess.
It is therapeutic.
Yeah, because
Even
some
if
of these
you didn't
songs
show these songs to anybody.
exactly, and people ask about songwriting and stuff, and I think that the purest songwriting is when people are writing for themselves, because you can go in and try to write a hit, but it's so encouraging to see the type of music that's blowing up all the time now, because it's like, Bristol Maroney, like freaking out on the interstate, follows no formula that anybody was interested in before. Like, it doesn't sound like a Rihanna song. And we go play that show. Every single city we've ever played that song in, everybody there sings along and cries and knows all the words.
Wow.
And it's just like this cathartic experience. And I'm like, if you can do that shit. You just, it's cheesy, but just stick to your guns. And it's like, you believe in the sounds and the people that you're working with, and if you have this conducive environment, then it's trust yourself. And also, like, you got to be open to criticism, and sometimes producers will throw notes at you that change the way that you originally envisioned songs and stuff, but just being willing to
It's a fine line between sticking to your guns and not being too guarded with what you think is going to sound good.
Yeah, because like some people, like, I wrote a song and it had a drum part, and dude is like, oh, I would change that to like a kick and snare. It's too busy. And my ass, I was like,
It hurt a little bit.
like that. Yeah, I was like, I love that part so much. And like whether or not I take that note, it's just like, does it really matter at the end of the day? Even if I put out that song and maybe it's a different drum part from the one that I wrote originally. But if it just helps,
Did he think he was right? Like, did you try out the idea?
So we haven't tried it out yet. My gut feeling is that was the wrong idea, which is probably my fucking ego and my like clinging onto my vision of that song.
But if you try it and you're honest with yourself, then
we can always try it.
Yeah.
And you can always go back on it. And I think good producing is like a lot of people record a bunch of shit that they don't end up using. And you record all these parts on songs and you just like, it's like at the end of it, it's okay, what do we get rid of now versus what do we add? Which is a great place to be.
Best. It's much better than
Sometimes it's really hard because you love two different parts and you're like, these instruments should be working together and this arrangement should be killing, and it's just fucking busy.
Right.
And having I don't know, production is crazy. Like having a producer that's a little bit heartless about your music is key. Because like Patrick Doherty, he just, he works for everybody. It's like he'll finish my stuff, put it down, pick up the next project. And he's not going to, give two shits either way if the drums sound this way or that way or whatever. He's got the wisdom, he's got the tools, and he'll be real with me and help me shape these songs into what we want them to be.
Yeah. What do you think is your favorite part of the writing, recording, releasing process from start to release or even post-release? What would you say is your favorite part of getting a song out there?
I would say the best part is when you are finished enough with a song where you're like, this isn't bad. It's like, okay, like thank God we actually are putting out something that we believe in. And there's like this little period of time where you're still adding stuff and it's like we were just talking about when you're trying to get rid of pieces of the arrangement. But it's like, the rhythm section knocks, you have the bones of the song so it feels full, but you can just get really creative and like tracking harmonies and little drum hits and getting the horn line dialed and all that stuff. That's my favorite part of the process. It's like, it sucks when you're starting and you got to build something from its conception, but when you have that, like that skeleton track and just diving into that, and it sucks when you're like, oh shit, I can't make it sound finished. It just keeps sounding like it's more like just stuff in there. But
it's almost like bringing the Christmas tree home is a bitch.
Yeah.
Getting it up sucks.
Yeah.
But then decorating it.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
fun.
It's like putting the ornaments on the tree versus like, having the tree stand up.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I love that. And tonight is going to be an amazing night. I always love the release night. It's so fun. I think I'll probably go live on TikTok or something.
Do it, yeah.
And just chill with people. Because it's been it's been so rewarding. Like I try to write songs for myself and about things in my life and things, but you realize how many of your experiences are universal. It's kind of like where you go on Twitter and you see some commercial or whatever posted. It's like, oh my God, did we all have the same childhood and stuff? Like we all have the internet and everything is, there's this wide array of experience, but in a sense, like we all had the same shows and pop culture, and it was easier to grab onto that unified thing. It's like everybody remembers like Bendaroos and you like those the silly straws, or what were the like sticky?
Oh my God, I feel like I know what you're talking about. The silly straws? Is it a candy or like an actual straw?
No. You built stuff with. I think were they called Bendaroos? Was that
Bendaroos? I don't know. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Okay,
yeah.
I got 6 years on you.
Yeah,
so
sure.
we might have a bit of a gap there.
Okay, yeah.
That's funny though.
Yeah, but
yeah, I mean, even you know, it is weird to go online and then see that a tweet that you think is funny that seems niche to you,
but then you look and it's like 400,000 people
Right.
liked it.
You're
It's just
like,
like,
oh.
are we really all just doing that?
Yeah.
But it gives me so much hope because it's like, you know, you meet some mean, angry people sometimes, and I don't know what their deal is, and
Yeah.
but yeah, like I wrote this song sober, and my poor roommates, they probably heard that song
Yeah.
200, yeah, you know, just when I'm working on it and stuff. And so we have this like running joke. Sometimes like I'll come home and one of them will be like, man, when I drink, sometimes I sit and think and I'm just like, all right, screw you guys. But and I totally get it, and I love them. But I mean, we had a TikTok comment 2 days ago. So I dropped that TikTok in November.
Yeah.
And I'm not living a sober lifestyle. I think that it would definitely have its advantages for me. And I'm
doing
that
dry
song is,
February right now, brother.
yeah,
It's tough.
yeah,
But it's awesome. I will
bet.
say.
Yeah. And it's always good to take care of yourself and know your limits and all of that. But so, you know, again, it's like following your own advice is hard sometimes.
I totally get it.
But this woman commented, and we put that video out in November. She said, I was 2 days sober when this song dropped, and I've stuck with it. And every time I'm having a hard time, I sing this song to myself.
Whoa.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, so it's
And
like,
you're like reading that comment blasted at Boar's head.
yeah, I'm just like stoned off my gourd.
You're like, good for you.
Yeah, no. But it's like, even if I can't fucking save my ship, I'm not saying I'm doing it. I stay away from anything that'll really fuck me up.
Yeah.
But
if you can inspire other people,
yeah,
regardless
it's like, even
of
if
how you
I'm
handle
not getting
things.
this right in my own life, the fact that I could maybe help somebody else find what they need. I don't think everybody needs sobriety. I think it could probably help a lot of people. And I don't know, it just makes, sometimes I finish these shows and it feels like it's this I know I talked about ego, and I'm very conscious of ego and trying to just limit it at all costs. And you know, sometimes we play a show and it feels like I got up in people's faces and it was all about proving how amazing of a guitarist or a singer I am to people and stuff, and it feels like this ego gratifying mission and stuff. But you realize, like last night I went to Starfucker and had this, you know, had a couple moments where I forgot about all the bullshit that I've been crying about and stressing about, and it was just that like presence that I'm seeking playing live. And you know, like I love skiing. When I'm skiing, I feel like I'm perfectly present, and it's a chance to give that presence, or at least that, like, you know, potential to have presence. And it's not, you know, when you play live, as much as you think it's about you, it's about everyone who's there, and just finding ways to elevate experience over anything else. Because I would much rather have someone go home from a show and be like they could go home and they could be like, wow, that band was amazing, they are so good at playing. Or they go home and they're like, man, that song spoke to me. Like that shit, I'm going through that exact same thing.
Yeah.
And like the highest compliment I ever received was someone told me, it was a musician that I really, really look up to, and he texted me. He was like, man, I feel like I learned more about myself because of your song. He's like, I've been listening to it, I've been going through this thing, and I feel like I know myself better.
Whoa.
And that, yeah, I was like, whoa, like, what the fuck? Like, that is, you know, as musicians, like I have certain albums and songs, and like this album that's, they're like time travel albums for me. They'll take me back to a place in time. And or a feeling or whatever. And I'm constantly processing my relationships and my mistakes and my my life through the lens of music. And so having that opportunity where people could be processing what they're going through your stuff, it's very it's a little terrifying, because it's like, I don't want to steer people the wrong. I don't want to be like a Brent Faiyaz where it's like, yeah, that dude sounds beautiful, but he sings the most toxic lyrics of all time.
You hear that, Brent?
Yeah.
Are you listening?
Yeah, I'm not talking shit, dude. His voice is amazing.
Yeah, he's got a crazy voice.
But it's I care about it. I care about every bit of it, because it's somebody could have the potential to learn more about themselves or feel less alone. And it's cheesy, but it's like, when you like, there are songs that I've listened to where I was like, I didn't know that someone else, of course other people have been through that or whatever, but it's like, I didn't know that someone felt exactly how I do.
When somebody words something so perfectly, you're like, oh my God, I've literally thought that.
Jason Isbell does it to me a lot. Yeah, like where it's like, I didn't even, it's like I've had that feeling and I've never articulated that thought in my own head, but hearing someone else say it, it's like I've known that my whole life.
Do you know his song Relatively Easy?
Yeah.
That's the one that made me feel like that. I was like, whoa, the way he wrote each of these verses and like the chorus, oh my God. It just hits you.
He's as much as everybody loves to gas up Isbell, like, he is just a masterful songwriter. And we were driving from Savannah to Clemson on Saturday, and Garrett played this like John Craigie live album, and he recorded it in Portland, I think. I was driving, man, if I hadn't been driving, I was fully crying while we're listening to it. And it takes a lot for me to cry, honestly. Like, I wish I would do it more, and it just doesn't, I'll just like stare at a wall or whatever. But
right.
like, if I hadn't been driving and I had to see the road, man, I would have been sobbing. I was like holding it back a little bit, but this album, he had this song, it was like the last song on the album. He's like, I'm doing an encore. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna bawl. Like, and this album, we had this cathartic show in a new city the previous night. I got my heart broken last weekend, and there's just all this emotion and all this shit that's just heavy on my mind. And this song he's singing it's talking about, he's like, what phase is this? And he's like, I had Legos, I had Lincoln Logs, I had girls, and like all these phases. And he's like, I don't know what phase this is. And he's like, how long will this last? And shit. And
Jesus,
all three of us in the car, man, like, I'll turn around, Olin's in the same boat as I am. Like, we're just like, it's like, how lucky are we to get through all of the monotony and fear and bullshit in our lives, and do this job that means something to us. And nobody in my band takes that for granted, because if you look at where we were a year ago, it's just different, and we don't feel like, I mean, there's a difference between knowing your worth and like thinking very highly of yourself. And so, like, I think everybody should think highly of themselves. My dude, therapy has been dope for me. That shit has been amazing. I put it off for the longest time, and it's been life changing. But
same.
My therapist said that humility isn't thinking less of yourself; it's thinking of yourself less. So you can still walk in and be like, I'm the fucking man, I know what I'm doing, but it's like where you channel that energy. You could channel it into feeding yourself, or you can channel it into feeding other people.
That confidence comes with feeling comfortable with accepting your own feelings and your own situation, and knowing that, giving yourself some grace if you do fall short. Because how many times do you have friends or family members who you feel like are, I don't know, maybe they quote unquote let you down somehow, but in reality it's like it's easy to forgive them, but for them it's way harder to forgive yourself, at least in my experience.
Yeah, I believe that. I also think on the flip side, like affording other people the grace, because if you go out, if I wake up someday and I'm hungover and I'm, you know, maybe snippy with someone in a coffee shop, I'm not saying, you know, never meet your heroes. I'll be a dick in person.
Right,
but,
right.
It's like, when you go through that personally, it's like, oh, you know, I was hungover, I didn't sleep, I was whatever, I was upset about this thing. But when other people do it, you're like, that person's crazy. Like, that person is mean. That like a lot of times I feel like I don't afford other people the same excuses that I make for myself.
Okay.
And it's also important to like when someone acts weird and it's out of character, rather than criticizing and being quick to be like, fuck you, like, what are you doing? It's like,
or just assume that
yeah,
this is their entire
this is
identity.
this is out of character. It's not who they are. What is happening?
Yeah.
To cause that, and how can I, you know, alleviate that, or at least just be a comfort to this person. And doing the same thing for yourself. Sometimes you're like, why did I screw that up so bad? Why can't I write today? Why can't I get out of bed today? And being, I don't know, like I think the idea of like treating yourself the way that you would treat your best friend is really important.
Huge.
Because it's, you know, like I think a lot of people are really good friends in Athens, and people would be taking bullets for each other, but they wouldn't do the same thing for themselves. And I just, you know, I want everybody to just feel how unique and, I don't know, capable like everybody is around here. It's a city full of incredibly smart people, and even the most directionless out of them, there's still so much to be done, because whoever doesn't know what job they're getting or whatever, it's like we're all so young. Even in, you know, if both of my arms get chopped off and I can't play music anymore, like as much as I think that would be life ending, it would fucking suck. I hope it doesn't happen, but it's like we all exist in this world where we have to be open to infinite possibilities, and the quickest way to get upset about something is having expectations of how it's going to go, and then not meeting those expectations or having something go differently. And I just think, like, along with, you know, maturity, I'm really striving for that presence that I was talking about, and you know, just worrying about the moment. And it's hard to find, and sometimes I find it and my phone buzzes and I lose it, but it's always a worthy pursuit. Like I think recently, like, the advice that I'm following really hard is that, again, or trying to follow, because things go the way they go, but you know, if the world gives you a no or a wait, then there's no use forcing it. You know, you still got to work hard and make things happen, but it's like, you know, you got to trust the timing of everything. Right. And with my band, that is totally made. It's like Kobe playing basketball. I hate to be the fucking Kobe guy, but he when he first joined the NBA, he was like 2 years younger than I am, which is insane.
Whoa. Yeah.
Literally insane. He was already like getting married when he was my age, which is crazy. But he was trying everything in his power to get the ball and ISO and score by himself and just run it. And Phil Jackson was like, bro, you got to let the game come to you. And he started, he you know, over time, he shed that ego, not fully because he's Kobe, but he shed that immaturity and trusted his teammates and moved the ball and let the game come to him. And I think that is the most beautiful, you know, example of what we could experience in our own lives. And just like, it goes back to trying to control everything. When I'm not like putting all my chips in the Georgia theater or the recording session that we're doing or whatever. And it's like, there's a world of infinite possibilities, and the right doors will be open and the wrong doors will be closed. And,
it's hard to know which ones are which sometimes.
it's so hard. Yeah. Things are like, I'm a very emotional dude. I'm definitely more of like a thinker with my heart than my brain. But yeah, it's definitely hard to navigate when people just, I don't know, like we've had some like sales pitchy kind of stuff come out of the woodworks, and just people being guarded and not being able to read people's intentions and stuff, which is why I'm also like, the Athens thing, it's like, you know what you're getting here. There are some shitheads in Athens, but for the most part, like,
There's shitheads everywhere.
yeah, exactly. Like I trust everybody that I've worked with here for other people's projects and stuff. Like I would recommend all the engineers and everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not run it with the good guys or whatever, and just do the thing and elevate everybody in this town. Because the coolest thing about doing this is that the better that my band can play and succeed and get out of Athens, as much as I'm in love with the city, if we can just run it on a tour, get out there, tell everybody along the way about Athens, Georgia.
Right.
Better bands will move here. Better musicians will move here. It's like, I want people like me in Virginia who had never even heard of the Georgia mascot. Like it's I didn't even know about the dogs when I applied to school here. It was like the last place
That's crazy.
It's weird. Yeah, because in Virginia, people freak out about UVA the same way.
Of course.
So it's a similar thing. But
I guess I don't know the UVA mascot.
They're the Who's or the Cavaliers, but they'd say go Who's.
I could picture the swords.
Yeah,
That's
they got
it.
Yeah. But I want, kids like me I was looking at Boston, Nashville, New York, all the music hotspots. Austin would be dope.
Mm-hmm. Were you looking at Belmont?
No, I only applied to one music school.
Oh, okay.
I applied to Berkeley, and it was actually the decision between going to Berkeley and coming here.
Oh, wow.
And it just made a lot more sense, because I was looking at it. I was like, I could go to music school, or I can like DIY music school and just run. And I never thought I would be in the boat where I could leave and support myself. Like I was thinking maybe like if I'm lucky after I graduate or something, we'll be doing it. But I've been full time since August, and
it's amazing.
It's a huge blessing. There are times when I wake up early in the morning, and the first thing I think about is how I owe so and so money, and or I'm not gonna make rent, or I'm not like, there are all those terrifying
fears.
Yeah, it's like it just builds up, and money troubles grate on you, and they age you really fast. But it's all. I've been telling the guys too. I'm like, as long as we protect our writing process at all costs and just keep leaning into whatever makes us write the most music and the best music and whatever, if we can preserve that, everything else will fall into place.
Yeah.
Because I believe in the songs that we have the potential to write. I don't think we've done our best work yet. And I just know that if we stay the course and just keep grinding the writing and the creation, all of the marketing stuff we're trying to figure out, and the TikTok and the editorial playlists and pre-save links and all of the stuff that you get bogged down in will be fine.
They'll fall into place.
Yeah.
And
the more that you think about that stuff, it kind of like crushes your soul a little bit, because you get into it because you see someone play guitar and you're like, that's badass, and you want to play guitar like them or better than them or whatever. And thinking about all of the business stuff all the time is hard. It's definitely good to run your own stuff and have a really good understanding of what's happening. But I think, I don't know, I hope all of my friends who are making music can either tap in or rediscover tap into that love for creating and just making music for the sake of making music. And I constantly forget that and come back to it. And
it's not a steady thing.
Yeah,
it's like a sine wave. You go in and out.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't write all the time based off of your motivation level. It's good to, like AG was talking about it with you. It's good to have a routine where you're writing even if you don't think you're going to come up with something, because all the bullshit when you're just sitting and like strumming the same couple chords and stuff, like usually the songs that I write, if I go in I'm like, I'm going to write something today and it's going to be like this, I'll sit there and get stuck. But if I'm just chilling on my porch, like no pressure or whatever, I'll come up with some chord progression on accident.
True.
So it's good to
try different things.
Yeah, sometimes
being very intentional is actually helpful.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just not the move of the day.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think when you like limit your tools, it's actually very creatively. It's like I only have this synth or this thing or this 8-track or something.
Yeah, having too many choices can be stunting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's freaky at a place like Tweed too, where it's like, okay,
yeah, I'm sure
we have like 18 amps, we have so much outboard gear out the wazoo.
Right. It can be tough to make a solid decision.
Yeah, you got to like make your decisions before you do them, which sometimes in producing you just try shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Cool, man. Well, that's going to take us over to the last 5.
Love it.
We're going to just go through 5 quick questions and then we'll be done.
Sweet.
Number 1 is in the studio or playing live?
Playing live.
Playing live. You hesitated a little bit.
I used to hate the studio and I love it now.
Yeah.
And we've been doing probably equal amounts of recording and playing live. And I would say the only edge that playing live has, other than the amazing experience of meeting new people and learning from other walks of life and stuff, is that playing live is my number one tool for workshopping my studio song. All the arrangement that I do, it's all up in my head, and it always changes when we play live.
That's
because
cool.
We see what works and what people respond to in real time. And like we're getting the gigs that we want to come our way finally, and it's working, and we're just so lucky, bro. But even still, I'll go to Boars every Wednesday and play at that open mic and try. Like last night I played 3 new songs, and it's like I want to try that new stuff and see. And sometimes you go up and you show up and nobody is digging it, and then you're like, I gotta go home and rewrite this or go work on it. And I don't put all my eggs in that basket, but having the experience of workshopping stuff live and then going in the studio with the band is dope.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Question number 2. What do you think is a perfect album front to back?
Oh, a couple of them. My personal favorite album, it's not, I wouldn't call it the greatest album of all time. It's just my favorite, is What Kind of Music by Tom Misch and Yusuf Days.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's just unbelievable musicianship. Tom produced most of it, if not all of it.
Tom Misch is kind of underrated.
Dude.
Like, I mean, people know him, but I feel like his talent is through the roof, and he's not like a household name.
Yeah, he's one of the most tasteful,
smooth.
Yeah, like his guitar playing, you never really hear him like go hard, but he plays all the right notes, which is dope. I also love I think Royal Blood, their first album, is a perfect album.
I saw them play live when that album came out.
I've seen them twice, bro.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, they're incredible. I saw them on the last leg of their tour in 2018.
Okay.
And they smashed all their instruments and stuff. It was awesome. Yeah. I think Catfish and the Bottlemen's first album is perfect.
Cool.
I think 10 by Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Perfect. Led Zeppelin 2 might be. It's not perfect, but it's close. Maybe Led Zeppelin 1 is.
Led Zeppelin 1 rocks. I always forget which one is which. Like
Yeah.
which songs are on which album, honestly.
Sure.
It doesn't help that they're Led Zeppelin 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
You know.
And man, I fucking hate to be like this, but I try to be like, oh yeah, whatever. Tommy's dope. He's running his thing. But every year that I've been here, all of my favorite albums that come out, I'm like, who made them? Tommy's got
Tommy Troutline.
Yeah, he's got the sauce, dude.
He's in that room right there as we talk about.
Love it. Fuck you.
Yeah, with Baz Records, it has quite the catalog.
Yeah, and it's just such good, heartfelt music. Like, it was, I don't know, the well-kept album, like Heart Attack and...
So good. Hammerhead,
Settling.
Corvette.
Yeah.
Settling is great.
Settling and Heart Attack, those were two of those songs like I was talking about earlier. I was like, man, like somebody else felt that way. like even though we totally different walks of life, but it's like we've both shared some sort of experience like that, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot about myself because of that album. And
That's cool.
So yeah, I'm really, really excited for Hefner 3.
Dude, me too,
That
man.
album is gonna be sick. I'm excited for Elijah to be dropping stuff again. There are so many bands, like, I just moved here and got really plugged into listening to local stuff all the time. And I'm like, thank God we got good local stuff. Because it would suck if you're trying to support everybody and it's like, this is like recorded in this dude's dungeon of a basement. Like, everybody here is on their shit.
Yeah, it is a cool, almost petri dish of inspiration. And everybody is nice as hell.
It's as much of an incubator as any music city could be. Like I really wanted to go to University of Texas and go live in Austin and do the Austin musician thing. And I think that whether or not I end up there in my future, I got rejected, and everything that I could have wanted out of that city that I thought it would give me, I think I've actually gotten in Athens.
Yeah.
Because I would have shown up there day one and been like, this place is huge. Like, there's what do I do? In Athens, it was like the second day I got to town, I got a gig.
Wow.
We ran it. I joined like this group me with everybody and got my 40-watt show, got the band. And it was like the perfect.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, it was totally meant to be. This city has changed my life and changed who I am in ways that I would never have imagined.
Yeah.
And all that we're trying to do is just give that love back. And I fucking love this place, and it's going to kill me when we have to leave at some point, but leaving, like, we're never going to be gone for 10 years or whatever. Like even when we leave, it's all for the purpose of elevating this music scene and the people who are just working so hard here and killing it.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. Question number 3 is, who's your dream artist or producer to work with?
I really, really like Dave Cobb.
Yeah, from Nashville.
Yeah, so he does Jason Isbell, Sturgill Simpson. Sturgill does Tyler Childers. He does Brandy Carlisle, Rival Sons. Like, it's kind of Chris Stapleton, especially. Like, his albums sound incredible. Just doing a lot. Like, I have a dream of kind of what Tommy's doing, where he's like following his artist path and stuff, but he's also like the nucleus of this music scene that it's diverse, but it has this kind of unified sound or vibe. And Dave Cobb is doing that with like the new wave of Americana, like that new wave country thing. Tommy's doing it with
kind of like indie emo.
Yeah, like indie, emotional, cool shit. And so having that kind of vibe where it's like I could work with whoever I want to work with and shape these records and mix and go for it. But also, I get to work on my music and it would be cool. I love Mark Ronson.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Amy Winehouse fan, and so he's just really good at I think his arranging is just genius. He just makes shit knock.
Yeah, interviews with him are really cool. Mm-hmm. He's like the coolest British guy.
He's so cool. Yeah, he has a weird accent because he like
it is odd.
He moved from Britain to like Brooklyn when he was little, so it's like this mix of like New York and Britain. That's just kind of his own accent. But
I know he has this TV show that I've been wanting to
way.
watch.
Okay.
But I think it's on Apple TV maybe. It's something that isn't like Netflix.
Sure.
And each episode he goes over a different, not instrument, but thing involved in production. So one episode is just about reverb. One episode's just about distortion.
I'm totally gonna watch that.
Yeah, I need to watch it. I've never watched it. I just have heard about it, heard him talk about it.
I mean, he knows what he's doing. Like,
yeah, so I feel like that'd
Uptown
be a really
Funk,
cool.
like as much as it's been overplayed and everything, like songs
It had a chokehold on everyone in 2015.
Yeah, and it just sounds amazing. Like if you listen, like, and it's all live instruments and just dope shit.
Yeah,
they're
also
bringing that
genius
old
because
school.
everybody thinks it's a Bruno Mars song.
Yeah,
And it's his song.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, you know what? I'm just gonna let Bruno do his thing, and I'll collect the checks. And that song rocks. Question number 4: what's on your musical rotation right now?
What was I listening to this morning? I was listening. I had
You can
something
pull up
going.
the Spotify
Yeah,
if
do you
you need
mind?
to,
Let me
dude.
see.
Yeah, that question almost nobody can just rattle it off. They have to check their Spotify.
So I have my house playlist going right now,
Okay.
which is like crazy EDM.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. So that vibe, yeah.
Sounds just like your own music.
It does, yeah. I only listen to stuff that sounds like me. No, yeah, I've been really liking like Garrett Gray shows me a lot of music. I love the music the band brings to the table, but like Willie Nelson and
Cool.
friends are incredible. I didn't even realize how, like, I've always really, really liked Willie Nelson, but he shreds. Like he has like all these Jerry licks.
Huh.
Like all throughout this, I was like, I don't know, it's just very like Grateful Dead, cool vibes. But been listening to him, a lot of like Daptone records, Motown kind of like horn section shit, a lot of house stuff. I've been hanging with some like DJs in Athens and stuff, so
So a little all over the place.
all over the place, and just a lot of local stuff. Like I just listened to Bliss Missiles' new EP.
Oh, I don't know them.
They're cool.
That's
yeah.
a cool band name.
Yeah, it is a cool band name. I fear that they're about to split up because their guys are moving away.
Uh-oh.
But they got a good EP out.
Bliss Missiles. Everybody go check them
We're
out.
rooting for you.
Yeah, we're pulling for you over
Please
here.
stay.
And on that note.
Yeah, but just anything I can get my hands on. I'm trying to. Yesterday I listened to Joe's album, like DJO.
Yeah, you've been doing that album of the day. and
Yeah,
I
I've been
was gonna
really bad
message
about
you.
it. I'm missing a
okay.
lot of days in there, but
Dude,
yeah.
that album was 3 of those songs I think were my most listened to of last year. What is it?
It was
I
sick.
forget the name of it though. The big one, the main like 3 singles that came out all are.
Was
are
it Roddy?
fantastic.
Is that on that album?
No, that's on the one before that.
That song's
that's on
incredible.
2020. Yeah,
Yeah.
Roddy. But oh my God, what is it called? Of course, I'm gonna remember as soon as this episode's done. But that album,
I really like the second
rocks.
song on the record.
Yeah.
It's like,
The faster one.
yeah.
Kind of sounds
His
like
lyrics
Talking
are super
Heads.
cool. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I also I spent my whole life, my whole dad's side of the family is really into the Talking Heads, and I just didn't get David Byrne. I couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. But I was like, objectively, this is really good music, and I finally found myself really, really, really liking the Talking Heads now.
How'd you get hooked? Because sometimes it only takes one song or
It
one
just
album.
yeah. It was I listened to the album with This Must Be the Place. I forget the name of the album, but just,
I can picture the cover.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really weird.
it's like that yellow with the circle and
Right.
stuff.
Also,
but
the
yeah, I
song
just-
is "Figure You Out." That was the one.
There you go.
That's
That's
the
a good
second to
song.
last one.
Yeah, I love that song.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, I was driving home from Florida and listened to it front to back, and I was like, I get it. These are some funky dudes.
Yeah, and the
all
fact
all
is,
of my years.
same
of,
guy
yeah.
on Stranger Things. Is
Oh,
insane.
facts. Yeah, I was talking about
Joe
the
Keery.
Talking Heads.
Oh
But,
yeah. That too.
Yeah, Joe doing. Also, I mean, his lyrics are so good. He's really good at like it sounds like he's writing those songs for his own enjoyment.
Yeah,
And
because they get weird.
yeah, he has a very unique outlook, which is cool. I think like Bruce's everybody like is worried about paving their own lane and trying to be unique and find their own sound and everything. But in Bruce Springsteen's book, he was like, I think that my outlook on the world is unique, and everybody has a different lens, and it's kind of like REM. Like I stopped worrying so hard about what my sound is because REM changed their shit up all the time. They would make new records and they all like, suddenly it's Bill Berry on the keys and switching around instead of just playing drums and stuff. But it all sounds like REM because it's Michael Stipe's voice. It's like the glue. So I'm like, I wrote a really sad country song the other day. We have like a new hard rock opener. We have all this stuff, but it's like, it's all going to sound like me because it's me singing it. So why worry about it? Just like write music you want to listen to.
Yeah, that cohesion is already there.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, we almost made it like an hour and a half without a
I know
train.
I'm talking your ear off.
No. This is what this is for. But I'm just apologizing for the train here. I'm amazed we got this this deep into it without a train.
Yeah, that train stays waking me up.
Dude, tell me about it. Oh yeah, you're 2 minutes away.
I'm like 2 minutes.
Dude, that thing it doesn't hold back. Even at 3 a.m, it's blasting.
It will go.
I need to come up with like a segment that happens if like the train happens during the podcast.
Yeah, you need like train whistles and it's just like a flash mob.
Yeah, or like, did you ever see the Amanda show? On Nick? Never mind. Bring out the dancing lobsters. Never mind.
Man,
You're
wish
too
I
young
were
for that kid.
I'm just not hip, man.
No, it's okay. It was a long time ago. But anyway, let's go to the last question here. And that would be, what is your favorite decade of music and what is the worst decade of music?
Oh man. Honestly, take it for what it is. There is so much legendary music that's paved the way for us, and so many hurdles that people had to get through to, like the Beatles committing to their mixes early on their like 8-track console.
Yeah.
And then you're like mixing while you're recording because you have to print all of those tracks on a 1 track and you can't change everything in there. So people had to do all this crazy shit that taught us so much stuff about arranging and writing and putting out good music. But I really, really believe in all the music that's coming out right now. I think that music just keeps getting better and better because it's more accessible. It also gets worse because everybody can make it.
That gap is wider.
And you find, but you can get all of the best synth pop from the 80s now that's honed and refined, and there are nicer synths and nicer things, and you can get dope ass Motown horn section funky shit. You can get crazy EDM dubstep stuff. You can get really nice singer-songwriter thing. Like there's just so much music. There's so much international music, like Africa killing it. Like there's some like indie desert rock bands in Africa that are insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're so cool, and they're using like weirder scales and stuff. I'm a huge Khruangbin fan.
Oh yeah. I saw them in Asheville.
Dude, I'm so jealous. I
actually went to go see Toro y Moi, who was opening for them.
Oh, that's
I didn't really
fucking
care
sweet.
about Khruangbin. I was like the only one there who probably went for Toro.
Sure. Well, that's also a great band.
Yes.
But it's like you wouldn't have them in the 70s, or that you might have, but it would have just been different because they have these tools now that and it's a blessing and a curse because we were talking about like limitations can breed a lot of creativity, and the hurdles that they were dealing with probably really contributed to the beauty of their songwriting and stuff. But I just think there's so much, like all of those perfect albums that I talked about earlier, they're all new. Like as much as I want to be cool and listen to old stuff, like I just really believe in everything my friends are working on, and there's so much good music to be made. Worst decade of music, I would go, I wasn't really vibing with like 1860.
Yeah, fuck 1860,
Yeah.
dude. All the trash that dropped
Like
that year.
John
that
Philip
decade.
Sousa. It's like, what are you?
I was like, whoa, he actually knows some music.
No.
I was like, I'm not going to be able to keep this up. But
Well, that's an interesting concept. It's like march music, like marching band music was the number one genre in the US for like 150, 200 years.
bangers.
And the only person that we know from it Now, if you do know any of it is John Philip Sousa.
Yeah.
So it's like,
no
who
idea.
is going to be for rock and roll in 150 years? It's like, is it going to be Elvis? Is it going to be the Beatles? Is it going to be Bob Dylan? Like, is it going to be fucking Machine Gun Kelly? Like,
Probably.
it might be. We'll
Probably
see.
over
It'll be
the Beatles.
Yeah, but
is true.
There might just be one.
It is weird to think about that.
Yeah, I do. My grandparents. My grandpa. It's weird to be related to him because he told me one time. He said, "Yeah, like when I graduated high school, which was in like 1960 or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I had all the music that I needed. And he just stopped listening to new stuff. Like, so for him, it's like he finally started listening to Willie's Roadhouse on the radio, which is bizarre for it because it's all like 50s love ballads. Adele, he did like Adele.
Nice.
That's like the only new artist that he'll listen to. And now he's in the last 3 years he's added outlaw country. But I'm like, can you imagine being like,
no,
yeah, I'm 18. I've heard all the music I want to hear.
Yeah.
I don't need any more.
Ears closed.
Living like that for years. Like,
that's wild.
Years and years and years. Just bumping the same stuff.
I mean, good for him, I guess.
So that would be my bone to pick. I would say I don't like the 50s for that reason.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, listen to some new stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's on me, man. Maybe I should send him some songs to listen to.
That's probably how I feel about. That's probably why I feel that way about the 80s. Mm-hmm. For certain, like, dude, Foreigner, Loverboy, all those like Journey songs that my parents would listen to constantly, and I'm like, I can't keep hearing these. I just can't. New.
It's like, you know,
it's definitely a personal thing.
If you wanted to, you could find some album that some dude made a week ago that sounds like Journey.
Oh, 100%.
It's just like, just get out there. And I probably listen to more music that I don't like than music that I do like because I'm all about the treasure hunt.
True. Yeah.
And certain people just don't care about it like that or aren't, they're like, why would I listen to shit I don't like?
You're like, well, you don't know if you like it. Yeah. You have to give it a shot first.
Sometimes, yeah, because the way that our brains work, like we get, I don't know what chemical I don't know if it's dopamine or endorphins or whatever, but like the way that our brain interacts with music, we like to predict things that are about to happen, and then either that thing happens and it's going to happen and it's like, oh, it's like when that chorus hits and it drops and you feel the build, and then or it doesn't happen and it circumvents your expectations and then you're like, what's going on? You don't have that that like payoff. And so some music, like neurologically, it takes like 3 listens because you like what you're familiar with as much as you try to get into new stuff, which is why, like, for like the Talking Heads or something, it was like, dude's voice is weird. Like, I don't want to listen to this, but then I've heard it, I've grown up with it, so it became familiar. And then when I had enough of that familiarity with it, from listening to it over and over again. Yeah. That's when it clicked. And I was like, oh, I get it. Because it just wasn't weird to me anymore. So I would encourage people, like, I mean, not if you hate it. Like, I'm not going to be out here listening to, like, Florida Georgia Line. But it's like, even if you don't like an album first try, like, maybe put it on the back burner and you'll like it the second time.
Every album that's, I would say, is in my top 5 took me a while to realize that I liked it, and then even longer to decide it was in my favorites.
Yeah, like, even Bruce took me a while. Yeah. Like, I didn't get it. And then I saw him live, and I was like, dude, yeah, I get it.
It's different.
He played the longest show of his career, as far as I'm aware, in D.C. when I saw him. Wow. It was like a 5-hour show.
That's insane.
And they rehearsed for like 3 hours before the show, too. Like, he's pulling signs out of the audience with requests. And his band, like the E Street Band, just knows everything perfectly. Yeah. Yeah. They were definitely my big influence with the Cannons. Like, I wanted to have the solo name thing, but then having the E Street Band or the Cannons or whatever your thing is live. Like, it's a really cool vibe.
Well, I'm going to have to check that next show, man. I'm excited.
Awesome, man.
Wim Tapley. We ran this episode.
Hell yeah.
This is one of the longest ones
I've done. Thank you for getting me up out of my bed.
Yes, dude, of
Let
course.
me ramble.
And if you made it to the end of it, God bless you. You got a lot of gems from this guy. I'm excited for the world to hear Sober. your new song. Everybody
Thanks,
go
man.
check it out right now. It's a bop. And yeah, man, thanks for coming in.
Hell yeah, thanks for having me, dude. This is
Awesome.
great.
Wim Tapley. Catch you next time.
Sweet.
I take a gut punch or whatever you want. Couldn't hurt worse than the side.
Thank you again for joining me for another episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. If you haven't yet, please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts, and you can even leave a comment down below to let me know who you're listening to. On that note, I'll see you guys next time.
It's hard thinking about you with anyone.